Joining us on the line now, Lieutenant General Tom Mcinerney, U.S. Air Force retired, somebody we've tapped into before to get some information, to get some guidance on how this thing might unfold. From a military standpoint, a couple of things I want to ask you about. There is a report this morning. It comes from the Russians, General, that says they detected traces of a ballistic object being launched from an area in the central Mediterranean in an easterly direction. They say that the traces eventually fell into the sea. CBS reports that U.S. officials say it wasn't U.S. planes or ships, and the Navy says, I have nothing to confirm those reports whatsoever. Just based on your knowledge of things, what might this be?
Oh, I think it's the Russians just making some trouble, Brian, and trying to bring issues up like this that are 10th-order problems. Typical, because the Russians have got a lot at stake on this. Look, I've been watching this over the weekend, and the fact is we're going at it the wrong way. Anybody who thinks the U.S. should be involved with this is crazy. This is a Muslim problem. I've got a plan. I call it the BLP plan, and this BLP plan gets the Turks, the Egyptians, the Saudi Arabians, the UAE, and the Qataris. But you got to watch the Qataris because they're the ones that have been putting the radical Islamists in there. Get them to take charge of this, and they attack. They've all got modern F-15s or F-16s, modern aircraft. We could provide some AWACS, support aircraft, although the Saudis have AWACS. We could supply Global Hawk information. Look, they're moving all these critical targets around, but our Global Hawks that are sitting off the shore there in the Mediterranean are tracking them. They've got 6 modes of detection. We know exactly where these targets are being moved, and we can provide that to this Muslim coalition and very strong nations. Look, Saudi Arabia borders almost up to Syria. You have to overfly Jordan. By the way, I'd put Jordan in there for at least overfly, right?
Well, can I ask you, though, you say that we're tracking, because one of the things we heard the president say when making this decision to have a congressional debate was, hey, there's no hurry. We can do this today. We can do this tomorrow. We can do this a month from now. Are there not some time-sensitive targets here?
No.
Really?
No, I believe the president. And by the way, the BLP plan, which is the Brian Larry plan.
Oh, I was wondering where the BLP came in there.
Yeah.
Wait, why are you throwing my name on that, General?
Because I think you two guys are asking the right questions. I mean, if you want to make it the BOP, the BHOP, the Barack Hussein Obama plan, you can. But let's get them. Look, the Egyptians started on their own. They threw the Muslim Brotherhood out, the people and the military. This is a fight between radical Islam and moderate Islam. Although Assad is not a radical Islamist, he's just a totalitarian figure. But the fight going on there is going to turn out to be between radical Islam and moderate Islam. We know from Iraq and Afghanistan we're not going to make democracies over there. Let's completely change our thinking. If we can get an authoritarian government like we had Mubarak, and I think now with General al-Sisi, get them in place there that are going to do reasonable things, that's what we need, not this grandiose democratic republics that they're talking about. And let's get stability over there in the region. Let them go through stability and then work their way up. But they have the capability to do this. They have the military capability.
Well, the only way your plan would work is if Congress shuts down the president's request here.
That's correct.
So my question is, what message is sent? Well, first of all, the president, you always think of the commander-in-chief of the United States military and the leader of the free world, the President of the United States, to be a commanding figure around the world and to show decisive leadership. What kind of message was sent to all of those nations you just cited in the region there, as well as to Syria, when the president seemed to do this last-second about-face and ask for congressional approval? They don't really understand our checks and balances over here. So what in their mind, what just happened this weekend?
Well, it was a signal of weakness. But let's send the signal of strength. Here's where President Obama can take a leadership role and say, look, guys, we need you to do this. And they have the leadership over there to do it if the pressure is put on them. Look, NATO, UN, we can't get anybody to do that, and particularly because the Brits and the French owe us one for Libya. We went into Libya because of them, and and now they backed out. And so let's get the people that are really involved with this, that understand it. Let's get them to take responsibility. Now, here's my problem with Senator McCain and Graham and some of the military analysts on Fox. They keep talking about supporting the rebels there, but they're not saying the right group. The Supreme Military Council under General Idris, I think General Valley told you all this last week, is not the right group. It's the real group that we ought to be supporting is
this the
Free
Syrian Army? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Under Colonel Riyad. And this is the debate that ought to go on in the Congress, because when you really start thinking about it, none of our allies, and I believe the French are going to bail on us in the next couple of days.
Oh, right. What makes you say that?
Because they're French. Look.
Well, I mean, history does tend to suggest that will be the case, yes.
They can read the tea leaves. So they're not going to be stuck in this.
Yeah.
And so let's put the responsibility on all that money we've invested in those Muslim countries, Arab countries, and let them take a leadership role. And they have that capability, I believe, if we put the pressure on them.
Well, Lieutenant General Tom McInerney, it is always a pleasure to have your perspective. Thank you so much for joining us here on Mornings for the Mall.
Thanks, Brian.
And thanks for coining the BLP plan. I'm
That's
ready
right.
for that, although it makes me hungry for a BLT.